Welcome everyone. We will be talking about people development in this presentation. People as in employees, development as their progressions in their corporate life, professional life thereof. So we will understand the various steps as far as the employee development planning process is all about it. We will see how employees and companies are mutually beneficially towards each other's and are responsible for each other's development. Discuss the current trends using formal education. Definitely yes. Relate how assessment of a personality type, work behaviors, and job performance can be used for employee development there. Now, let us also understand what are the various job experiences that can be used for development and suggest the job experiences with that of the employee's development goal. Definitely, we will be mapping the characteristic of effective mentoring programs, the succession planning programs, and the onboarding process in this particular presentation. Yes, this will be a little bigger in terms of duration, approximately half an hour of presentations video that I'm going to create for you. Remember, why do we are entangled into a professional career? Development is only the key things. We are only looking for some kind of upliftment, development, as the case might be. It helps the managers understand their strength, their weaknesses, and the interest thereby. This is what we are all interested upon it. The managers expand their responsibilities to meet their growth needs, increase retention of valuable managers, ensure employees have the needed competencies, helps increase employee engagement as on when on basis as the case might be. Remember, development is all we are looking as far as employees are concerned, as far as organizations are concerned. So it's basically in mutual beneficial relationship that is entangled into it comes development and training. Now, remember, everything is a learning experiences. So, as we spend time in one of the profession in an organization, we learn from the experiences. And the moment we learn, we tends to grow, we tends to prepare for the future. Development often may be involving voluntary learning which need not be directly tied to the current job. It might prefer to your required taste and preferences. Training is related to the current job and typically required thereby. Traditionally, careers have been described in two ways altogether as a sequence of a position held within an occupation in context of mobility within an organization and as the characteristics of an employee one's career as we look into it. So these are what we are volunteering and vouching for the sequential of positions to be held in an occupation in context of mobility within the organization and thereafter as the case might be. So the protein career, what is the protein career? It is based on your self-belief, self-creation, self-directed, whereby it is to be driven by the person vis-a-vis by the organization. So what you want it to be done doing around it? Do you want to get entangled into an organization and let the organization plan for your career, or you should take the mentorship on your in your own hand and properly steer guide your career by yourself? A key goal in a protein career is to achieve psychological success, and that is what we are looking for it. Employees needs to develop new skills rather than rely on the static knowledge that has been there. Boundaryless careers. Today's careers are extremely boundaryless, extremely fragile. You just cannot pinpoint it. The individual is not only agile, the individual is not only mobile, the individual is probably switching career, profession, industry as per the demand that has been put in forward. So bound relates means that the individual identify more with a job and profession rather than by the employer. So yes, geographical location doesn't matter at all. They might switch a career, switch a position. They are agile. Most employees are unlikely to stay at one company for the entire length of their career, or should I say even a significant portion thereby. So this is what we are entangled as well. Boundaryless careers is concerned. Remember, development planning is all about self-assessment, identifying opportunities, areas for improvement, reality check, identify what needs are most realistic to develop, as in what are we looking into it. Goal setting, establishing goals to focus on development effort as the passage of time. We need to ensure what we are looking forward to. Action planning, creating a plan to determine how goals will be achieved. Remember, this is the premises of planning development, right? Your self assessment, your reality check, the goal that you are aspiring for, and the steps towards it, or what I call action planning. Again, there are four basically development planning steps. Self-assessment is your own strength and weakness. Reality check, what has been happening in the environment. Goal setting according to your strength and weakness and the environment. You marry it and set a goal, and thereafter takes those baby steps to achieve the goals around it. What is known as action planning. Approaches to development. How do we actually do it? Basically, it started with formal educations. Remember, this is what gives us the basic for the job, for the career that we look into it, and then we can further it back with executive education. Personality test, assessment center, performance appraisal, 360-degree feedback, as the case might be. How do you look into it? Where it is all about, if we may say so. This is what needs to be taken care of with the passage of time that is there. We have to ensure what is right and what is wrong. We should make it a point that whatever we are doing is being absolutely valid upon. So be it 360-degree feedback, enlarging of the current job, the job rotation that comes around it, the lateral moves that we speak around, the transfers, the promotions, the downward moves, the temporary assignments, the volunteer work, the sabbatical, mentoring, coaching, and succession planning, as the case might be, is all about it. This is what we are looking forward to. Am I clear? And I suppose everything should be distillly understood by each one of them as that passage of time comes around it. This is what we are looking forward to. So as we do about the frequency of practices, if we look into it, the percentage of practices that has been done, and is just a sample method. 84% of the time we are looking into training and leadership training, but probably it's 70% where we are actually sitting down and planning for the career or the development of an individual. So that is what 70% of the time. And the least thing is an internal mentoring program, probably giving you a guidelines as to if you join as an apprentice in an organization, how do you improve by leaps and bounds to reach the pinnacle of the organization, effectively becoming the chief executive officers, if possible. What are the steps to it? So we can have those job rotation, job assignment, coaching, and so on and so forth that comes around it. As for the frequency of practices that has been there, remember, nothing can replace formal education. It may take into different manifestation. It might be on-site, it can be an off-site program, it can be tailored, it can be manicured, it can be made to order specifically towards the company's requirement of the employees. Short courses offered by consultant academic institution, on campus universities that comes around it. So many companies provide tuition reimbursement, as the case is all about it. Executive education includes executive MBA programs specializing in curricula on topics such as leadership, entrepreneurship, and global business. This is what we are looking forward towards it. Remember, blended learning is mostly common. Education institutions have begun offering in-house customized program, as the case might be, as we are looking forward to it as an on when basis. This is the factual things. So yes, executive education does helps in the long run. Absolutely, it's a mandatory thing and does um, improves your recall, memory recall factors, and effectiveness is what we are looking forward to. Remember, that is what is most important as of today. Now, talking about the assessment, how do we go about the assessment? It is basically collection of information. How to collect those data points, from which all sources that you're looking into it, providing feedback about behaviors, communication styles, and skills. Assessment can help to identify prospective candidate for senior positions. Now, this may also helps into identify or segregating the strength and weakness of a person, of a member of the team, and probably it might sensitize the self-awareness concept. So assessment I deem is much required from time to time. People should be scrutinized altogether. In fact, about their behaviors, their communication skills, the styles, and so on and so forth. That is what is mandatory requirement of late. The new personality inventory, which we keep on going around, is the big five personality dimensions are emotional stability. People who can manage pressures with a smile on their face, they're ever relaxed, they're non-warrior. And then there are people who are extroversion, which are very sociable, outgoing, very vociferous. Whatever is bothering them, they will let the whole world come to know. These are the people who have been classified as extroversions. Then we have the openness, whereas people are willing to try new things instead of just voicing their opinion, instead of just lamenting onto it, instead of just criticizing it. It can be testing the new waters, absolutely trying it out, what works and what now does not work. Being agreeable is another of the features of certain personal characteristic. They are very friendly, very polite, consciously, and then these are the people who are hardworking. No matter what, if things are going against them, they become more hard workers. If things are going for them, they do not relent at all. They keep on working. They are this. This is what the five big personality dimension are all about: emotional stability, extroversion, openness, agreeableness, consciousness. Then comes a DISC. Now, DISC is to be as an acronym for dominance, influence, steadiness, and consciousness. This is a personality or a behavioral style that comes around it. People with dominance, influence, steadiness, and consciousness completely in an is available out there. We look into the format as on when on basis. We have MBTIs, and as an MBTI, what we are talking about is the personality types. One of the major prominent personality indicators or dimension that can be fixated upon is MBTI as Myers-Briggs type indicator. Basically, classified personality onto 16 preferences of 16 preferences based on introversion vis-a-vis extroversion, sensing vis-a-vis intuition, people who sense and people who think it out or find it out, premonitions kind of scenario. Then there are people who are thinking and people who are emotional or feeling, people who judge and people who perceives as a thing. So each personality type has an implication for work habits on an interpersonal relationship. Assessment centers are multiple rater assess employees in a number of exercises typically used to identify personality characteristics, administrative skills and interpersonal skills for managerial jobs. Remember, we are increasingly used to determine if the employees and the skills to work in teams are all about it. This is what we are talking around. How do we appreciate and things like that, as the case might be, right? So this is how look into it. Assessment centers are these sensitization centers, if I may call around it, wherein people are subject to certain rating parameters, and they will come up with what is their implication, behavioral, communication style, or probably the skill wise. Now this is where they will be able to identify on which all skills they need to work upon, and so on and so forth. So assessment centers exercise can be on a leadership group discussion, it can be based on a name basket exercise, it can be an interview, it can be a role play. People actually are subjected to such kind of activities and exercises wherein the outcome will be known to them in due courses of time. This, I believe, is one of the beneficial methods of people development. Remember, we talk about 360-degree feedback. Yes, feedback is obtained from every one of us, be it their downline, be it their upline, be it your peers, be it the people who have just met you once or tangentially have heard about you. It's everybody, be it subordinate, peers, customers, managers, employees themselves, individual complete questionnaire ratings on the employee on a number of different dimensions. So this gives a holistic picture of a person, but it is very time consuming, it is very effort resource consuming, as the case might be. Benefits of 360-degree feedbacks are multiple. Why? Because things comes from a different perspective, and in fact perspective which you might not have even thought of. So you might be excellent co-worker, but as a boss people might not like you, right? You might be an excellent boss, but then you do not know how to handle difficult customers. So you come up with certain hidden personality problems that is being lurking around. So employee gain a better perspective of this strength and the areas for improvement. This system helps to formalize the feedback process stupendously. Now, what are the challenges or the limitation as we go around it? Did I say it is very time intensive? Yes. Did I say it is very resource intensive? Yes. Did I say employees might retaliate against raters? People might think, or should I say, feel vindicated or make vindications of the process altogether. Facilitators may be required to interpret the result. Companies may fail to provide opportunities to act on the feedback as on when on given, and this is what is the laxity as far as 360-degree feedback is concerned. Let us understand job experiences. Most development occurs through experiences. I can tell it from my own perspective. As a student, probably I was not very knowledgeable as for the contents, the topics that were covered in during the sessions. But when I start doing it on my own, I had a better insights to it. So what does it signify? Why did I say utter such word? It is during the job you learn the most. This is the factual fact that cannot be erased easily. So development mostly occurs when employees are given a stretch assignment, a difficult assignment, people work under a little bit of stress, because under stress comes out your true character. Job experiences perceives a positive stress challenges, employees and stimulate learning. Enlarging current jobs. Job enlargement involves adding challenges, new responsibilities to the current job. Two in a box, enlarging jobs by giving by two managers the same title and responsibilities, and allowing them to divide the work as they see fit, as on when on basis. Job rotation and lateral moves. A series of assignment in a different functional areas of company or within the single functional area. Job rotation helps employee gain an overall appreciation of the company and develop a network. Lateral moves helps retain the employee who wants to have a new experience altogether. This is what is required. This is how you find out things, what is happening as on when on basis. So you need to tell it out, right? This is how you will manage the show. So lateral moves actually help you in a lot many fashion, a better fashion, if I may say so. Let us understand the effective of job rotation as the case might be. It links to a specific development because you now gain a knowledge of a different perspective, different functioning of the organization, provides experiences which is required when you are moving up in the managerial positions. Employee understand the skills to the development, time to minimize the workload. All employees are given equal opportunities, and this is what is mandatory requirement for every opportunity that comes around it. Yes, effective job rotation is much better and better way to understand the operations of the company. Temporary assignments are voluntary and sabbaticals. Temporary assignment involve exchanging employees so that companies can better understand each other. Community volunteers assignment may provide opportunities to learn a new thing, absolutely new skill. A sabbatical involves a leave of absence to renew or probably to develop a new skills altogether, wherein a person actually probably volunteers for another job. Now when you are voluntary, it is making a non-remunerative work that you're going around it, or else you can take a sabbatical altogether and leave from the job which might be unpaid for. You end up retaining the job, and you during those sabbatical leave you pick up certain tricks altogether. So these are whatever the temporary assignment, community volunteer assignment helps in a leave of absence. It helps to figure out as a better versions of yourself as an employee, as a person. So transfers, promotion, downward moves. A transfers involve reassignment of an employee's work to a different area, and that is what we are looking forward to it. A promotion, on the other hand, involves advancement to a position of a greater responsibility, a greater authority. A downward move involves a position with less responsibility. Definitively, yes. So transfer is reassignments. Now, this can be in a different location, it can be a different position, and so on and so forth. But it exposes you a host of new opportunities. Promotion, on the other hand, would be upskilling of yourself, more responsibilities, and more authority being given out. And just the oppositions or opposite of promotion would be a downward move, where people have been downgraded with lower responsibilities. At the same time, people are not losing their jobs, by the way. Talking about the relocations, what are the advantages? It provides information about the content, challenges, and benefits, sends the employee to preview the new location, educate how the new job will affect income, taxes, and expenses, assist with selling and securing housing, assign a host to help with the adjustment, provide an orientation program as the case might be. This is what we are looking for in due courses of time with every moment that has been there. Mentoring involves an experienced senior employees helping to develop a less experienced one. Talking about it is help socialize new employees, develop managers, and provide opportunities without regard to race and gender. Most relationships develops informally. Definitely, this is what is most important for you to understand is maximum numbers of relationship, no matter how trust you can place on the formal orientation part, but friendship develops only informally, and that is where the trust lies in all about it. So have a socializing proper policies, a process for the new employees, develop the managers and provide the opportunities without regard to the race and the gender thereby. Now let us look into the Proteage benefit. The benefit of Proteage includes career support. Yes, if you have a valuable mentor, the career support has to be given. The psychosocial support, the skill development, the higher rates of promotion, the higher salaries, and the greater organization influences, as the case might be. This is what the Proteage benefit is all about. It career support, psychosocial support, skill development, higher rates of promotion, higher salaries, and greater organizational resources, as the case might be. So let us understand what benefits a mentor to. Now, mentors benefit includes a wonderful interpersonal skill. So you have a definite insight upon a younger generation or a different perspective altogether. It definitely, yes, increases the self-esteem. Obviously, yes, when people have been calling you as a mentor, people look up to you. Definitely, your confidence gets a boost up. Increased sense of worth to the company, access to the new knowledge in the field, as the case might be. This is what is we are all about to say around things. Now, that is what the benefits of mentor. Let us have a formal mentoring process. Carefully select the mentors, make them participate voluntarily, ensure that the policies are working in tandem with one another. There are things that is actually working for the benefit of each and every one of us. Now, can we match those mentorships as on when on basis? How do we go about it? If so, if now, what else? Let us understand how do we go about clarifying the roles and expectation. As a mentor, what happens is it will tell it to you as to what is expected and what is not. Now you have to basically match those skills with the mentors for the Proteage requirement. So this is what is the formal mentoring program will altogether. You probably, if you can mimic the mentor skills, no doubt about it. First word of aspirations or admirations would be mimicking it out before it get installed as an habit for the Proteage. So encourage a continued relationships over a period of time as on when on basis. This is what we are looking for sure at every time that comes around it. Let us understand coaching. It's basically a peer or a manager who works with an employee to develop a specific skills, keep them motivated, and provide constructive feedback. A coach can eventually play three roles: that of developing high potential managers, holding employees learn for themselves, and providing valuable resources, as the case might be. This is what we are exactly looking for it. Uh, Definitely, how we look into it and help the employees learn from themselves. Managers may be reluctant to discuss the performance problem. Managers may be better able to identify the performance issues than solve the problems as on when on basis. This is what the resistance to coaching is all about. It managers not willing to do. Why? Because this means they are imparting their hard-earned qualities for which have ensured success for them to others very easily. So they don't want to imbibe those training, one, or they fail to identify the performance issues. If they fail to identify, how can you expect them to solve them? And there is what the employees believe coaching as a criticism, as in a person who cannot do, probably can only coach. So managers may have the time or may not have the time for coaching at all, and that is the reason why we avoid coaching in the first place. Let us come to the very fag end of the presentations in succession planning, identifying, developing, tracking employees who are capable of moving into different positions. And that is what we are looking into it as far as succession planning is concerned. Remember, the word is identifying, the word is developing and tracking employees for different positions as on when on basis. The key benefits are future leaders build bench strength, minimizes disruption when the key employees leave. It helps them plan development activities or experiences, attracts and retain employees as on when on basis on you look into it. So let us go with the 9 box grid method, wherein the potential or probability is to be mapped on an x-axis and the performance is to be mapped on the y-axis, and we will have a wonderful matrix that comes around it for you to understand everything. Look what we are having. When the potential is on a lower side and the performance is a lower side, the employee is poor. When the potential is more or less okay, or promotability is more or less okay, but the performance is not very inspiring. It is inconsistent employee, and similarly, you plot it from 1 to 3 to 9 things. It becomes potential may be misplaced at the third place. Potential is very high, but performance is wrong. Maybe in a wrong industry, maybe in a wrong position. Similarly, when the potential is low, but performance is very high or somewhat high, is strong contributors making an effort to learn the tricks of the trade. As a core employee, we have a perfect balance between potential and performance. He is the man or he is the woman for the job altogether. There is another gentleman or the lady who is a rising star with an immense potential, and the performance is just at par. But then we are looking for performance which is excellent, even though their potential is less. They are laboring hard, so technical and subject expert that we are looking into it with a very limited knowledge or with a exclusive knowledge and very little or limited applicability. They are doing wonderfully job in their performance because there's no one in their domain to challenge them. And then there's an agile non-perform wherein the potential is very good, and but performance is also decent. Agile non-performers altogether, and we have a star employee where not only is been matching up with the performance but also with the potential as a concern be. Now, should the result be public? Now, question is, once you have done undergone the assessment center, what should be done? Should it be made public? There are many advantages to it. Yes, employees may stay because they understand that there is a prospects for promotion. Definitely, yes. Why not? If I see there is a huge increment which is going to be awarded to me, I will stay back a little longer to enjoy the increment, probably. Employees who are not interested may communicate their intentions very thoroughly as an advantages. Now, this is advantages wherein the assessment will figure out you are a good employee or a bad employee. And people who think they have got a bad reviews may eventually venture out. Similarly, disadvantages is employees are not targeted to become discouraged and all leave altogether. Let us come to the dysfunctional behavior development. Remember, the topic is people development. people may get help in elevate dysfunctional behavior. Dysfunctional behaviors are behaviors which are not being appreciated, are behaviors which are detrimental to the growth of the organizations and the individual alike. Toxic behaviors include insensitivity, aggression, arrogance, and poor conflict management skills. Yes, we talk about the combinations of assessment, training, and counseling could be used to elevate those dysfunctional behaviors altogether. Altogether, the toxic behavior should be abandoned as quickly as possible through coercion, through sensitivity, through aggression, whatever you want to go around it. We come to the onboarding process, wherein this is where actually there is a compliance both in terms of the organization policy and the legalities of the land. Clarification with respect to the what is the expectation from the job or the performances. Cultures is the company history, tradition, values, and norms that comes around it. Connection, develop formal and informal relationship that comes around. As a result, we are complete with our onboarding. Remember, effective onboarding is always been focused on technical and social aspect of the work. And remember that is needs to be sensitized with the organization culture. There's an active involvement and employees are encouraged to ask questions. This is an interaction between new hires and seasoned employee. Managers are involved. There is a follow-up at different points during the first year. Absolutely, this is what we are looking forward to, is an effective onboarding process. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.